reality is that even within our most local communities, our donors and prospects are a varied bunch. Their expectations of us are largely based on their individual values, experiences, and knowledge of our organisations. Combine this with our objectives as fundraisers to either recruit new donors to our database, increase the average gift size, or the frequency of the gift, and the task of getting the message right can feel rather overwhelming. So let's take a quick look at what information can be helpful for us to know to send the right message to the right people. The best place to start is by looking at those individuals who are already your best donors and asking yourself, what is it about their demographics and lifestyle that might provide clues to who we should target with our different communications? The demographics that fundraisers commonly look at are age, gender, family life cycle, and income or occupation. If you haven't already begun to collect data like this on your donors, then it's a good time to start. Take care that the data you collect is only the important stuff and that you follow the data protection guidelines. For more help on this, you can take a look at the IOF's Code of Fundraising Practice for data protection. You can also look at the latest document on giving in the UK published by NCVO and CAF. There you can see which age and gender and profession is most likely to give and how much they give on average. It's a good benchmark for your organisation to work from in the meantime. We also mention life cycles. Life cycles refer to the stage someone's at in their life, so categories start with young single people living at home and journey through them getting married, having young children, older children who are still dependent on them, the empty nest when children leave home but the head of household is still working, through to the couple retiring and eventually there being a solitary survivor. Like every system for categorising your donor database, there are limitations in this, based on the fact that it's a traditional concept of the nuclear family, but it's still a very helpful indicator of the propensity to donate. We also said that you could look at lifestyle to help you segment your donors. This basically refers to their activities such as work, hobbies, social life, entertainment, shopping and sports, and their interests such as their family, their home, their job, the community, recreation, media and achievements, and their opinions. You might start to see clear patterns of people with particular interests or hobbies emerging on your database. For example, small charity Sail for Cancer, who give families affected by cancer respite, naturally attract a lot of people from the sailing community. Understanding if these sailors are experienced and own their own boats, or if they just enjoy a cruise along the local river, can help Sail for Cancer to target their communications to match their interest levels. We've covered lots of different items that you can use to segment your donors, but by far the best way is to start by looking at your current best donors and pick out their key features. Do they fall into particular age groups? Are they at similar stages in their lives, perhaps with children having left home? Are they in similar kinds of professions? Do they have hobbies or interests in common? Do they have similar motivations for supporting? Once you've evaluated your database for these features, you'll want to think about whether these groups are actually practical to service. For example, if you've identified 30 different groups, it's going to be exhausting and impractical to communicate the same announcement of a campaign launch to these groups in 30 different ways. And moreover, you might find that some groups can really receive the same communication style. To help you make sure you segment only where it's practical and valuable, there are 7 steps you can follow. Firstly, make sure you can measure the groups. So if you can't easily track how many people fall into one of the criteria you have put in a group, it isn't going to work. Secondly, you need to know that you have the resources to design fundraising materials that are appropriate for each of the groups. Thirdly, if you're only likely to raise a small amount from a segment, there is little point taking the time to approach them differently. Either make sure the group is large in number or individual donation size. Fourthly, you want to make sure that the behaviour or interests of your donors in each group is going to stay relatively the same, so you don't create work that will soon be redundant. Fifth, the donor group should be appropriate. For example, you may not want to have immediate beneficiaries as a target group. Sixth, You'll want to be sure that each group is really unique and will not respond in the same way as other groups. And finally, in seventh place, that the group is sustainable, so that you can actually manage the needs and behaviour of this group. If, for example, you identified a group of large companies to target and had to manage communications to their nationwide offices, do you, even with their investment, have the resources to manage this level of work? Once you have your groups finalised, you can start to ask yourself, what will interest them? What format will be appropriate for each of them? What ask do I need to make? And where do I put my message to reach more donors like them? Give it a go now and see what segments you can find in your donor group. Test them according to our 7 points and start using targeted communications for greater success in your charity.